Hi, welcome to Comic Talk. I'm Josh,
I'm Drew.
and this is our comic pull list review for the week of November 4th. Bam! The Vision. We've got some stuff from Image. This is Paper Girls. This is Image, right? It is. We've got Extraordinary X-Men. We've got We Stand on Guard. And we've got Doctor Strange #2. So we're going to start off with The Vision. This is by King. What the hell is this? Walta. I thought maybe I wrote it down wrong. Walta and Belair. This is an issue that we did not have on our list.
Correct.
We were not going to pull this. Just because we have so many already. We were looking at a bunch of different Marvel issues. But with King on Omega Man and all the critical acclaim that's been getting, I decided I wanted to read this, so I bought this week. I brought it, and we decided to read it together. What do you think?
I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's interesting how well this guy writes like a computer, like completely void of emotion and objective about everything. And it's amazing how he set up these characters to understand things that we deem to be human traits and emotions and stuff, but he understands them all on a completely different level. And we always have this idea of, computers, when we get AI, they're just going to think we're absolutely absurd and want nothing to do with us. But he's reached this sort of Zen state of understanding where it's like he sees all our flaws and he's got them figured out in a way that makes them feel okay with it. And I like that.
Yeah. I've always thought the Vision was a cool character when I've read other stuff that he was in, Avengers, things like that.
Red Tornado #1.
Yeah, he's very much Red Tornado. They're very clearly the Marvel and DC same character, really.
Yeah.
I think Vision is more powerful than Red Tornado.
Fuck ever.
Anyway. I mean, Red Tornado's badass as well, but I mean, Vision is intentionally made to be like one of the most powerful Avengers by a huge margin.
Yeah, but that's fanboy shit.
Yeah, who gives a shit? I'm just saying they're very similar. But this is a really clever look at this character. You can see that King really looked at this and said, "Who is the Vision? Like, what is this character? What makes him tick? Why?" And he's really exploring, like you said, this idea of a synthetic mind trying to be human. And we've seen this with both Vision and Red Tornado in other comics and also other media. Red Tornado and a lot of the cartoon stuff from DC, I've always...
Yeah, he was real big in Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah, and we got a lot of this same kind of thing with that character. And in fact, that was one of the reasons I liked that show, was that character. And we get kind of the same thing here, but just taken to a more literary level, I think. A deeper, more introspective, almost Blade Runner-esque kind of attempt at this. It's really cool.
Yeah, giving a character like that their own solo series is bold. So I'm glad to see that he's pulling it off.
Right, and you might expect for them to take this character that's very powerful. A lot of writers would take this character in the complete other direction and go on a big action adventure romp and do these little moments of introspection, but this is completely the other way around. This is the Vision trying to make a life in suburban America.
Yeah, there's barely any action in this. The action is like the big twist that's, makes you want to buy the next issue or whatever.
Right. And frankly, I didn't care nearly as much about the twist as I cared about the first, 25 pages or whatever we have here. I thought they were great.
Yeah, I was completely sold before the action even came in.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Yeah, totally just this dark, weird look at like the human condition. Pretty cool stuff. Paper Girls. This is Vaughn, Chang, Wilson, and Fletcher. This is issue #2. This is only a couple weeks after the double issue #1, so that's kind of cool. I like that this is coming out that quick after the first one. It really helps jump us right into here.
Yeah, definitely. And this one, things pretty much just keep getting weirder and worse. a bunch of pterodactyls pop up and more mysterious shit, and we get little hints of what might be going on, but we still don't really know for sure.
Right. There's clearly some temporal weirdness happening that they've made it very clear at this point that that's the basis, but it doesn't seem like that's what the plot is going to be. It's not going to be about them figuring out that it's a temporal anomaly of some sort. That's more, I think, going to be the backdrop to the story that we're probably, being Brian K. Vaughan, probably be a lot more interesting than just let's find out why this happened.
Yeah, definitely. So again, with that, highlight of this issue, in my opinion, would be character development. Get some awesome character development. I love how the badass girl, of course, like has a gun at her house,
right.
A real gun,
right?
You know?
And it's a big deal that she has a gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this stepmom that's sort of a drunk zealot type is just beautiful. Painting of people.
Yeah, agreed. The dialogue really makes this book stand out. And if this level of dialogue continues, I'll be completely sold on this whole series, even if very little happens.
And it's not even like that there's a whole bunch of heady shit going on. It's just that the things that are said and the way that the characters react to the things that are said is just masterful.
Yeah, it feels very real, but in that slightly exaggerated realness.
Yeah.
You know, that we, like, again, it's definitely heavily inspired by 80s youth adventure flicks like The Goonies and The Outsiders and things like that.
He even drops some, I love the Brian K. Vaughan pop culture references, and he drops some that are completely time appropriate for that. So
right, he even brings up some of those kind of films, and they relate to them as, well, maybe it's like this thing, or maybe it's like that.
He's got to have like a stack of People magazine dating back to like 1972 or something that he just thumbs through, and guy's ridiculous. And I love him though. It was great.
And he also makes a very specific point, the artist does, to tell us through the background scenery that this is 88. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
The Bush sign, Bush for president. So now we have a very specific time that we know that this is supposed to be taking place in.
Cool.
So that's kind of cool. Lastly, before we move on from this, let's talk about the incredibly nice quality of the cardstock here.
Yeah, it's $2.99 book, and it feels like a $5 book.
Easily. Yeah, it's really, really thick, high-quality paper. And we were talking, I read an interview, I believe it was with Cliff Chang, or Chris Chang, where he talked about the fact that because they actually have some money, and this is a kind of a passion project that they've always wanted to do, they're taking a hit, actually, on their side of the profit to put this out in this high of quality. They felt that it was appropriate for the feel and style of the book to have this nicer stock than you would normally see. Even in Image usually has
it's
nicer stock paper, but this is even better than that. So
it's like cardboard. It's
really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's definitely the kind of thing that I would like to collect and have all together, and you could show off to people to show how nice comics can be, you know. All right, so next off we have Extraordinary X-Men #1. This is Lemire, Ramos, Olambus, and Delgado. I totally butchered that. It's Olazaba.
Okay.
But I probably still butchered it. All right. Extraordinary X-Men.
There's no New Mutants because of the, what do you call it? The Terrigen mists. Yeah. So people are getting pulled in for that one last job.
Right.
That's about it,
That's about it. It's I put down Storm's getting the band back together.
Yeah.
You know. So we picked this one up because it's Lemire.
That's about it for me.
Yeah, it's kind of my least favorite Lemire thing I've read in quite a while, to be honest.
I thought it sucked.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I'm pretty much with you.
It was comparable to like the first 15 minutes of like any of the X-Men movies that have come out. I mean, if you were into the movies, you'd probably dig this because it's, the circumstances are different. You know, it's not tied into the movie universe by any means, but it still has a very familiar feel.
You're right, it does. I like that Storm has the mohawk back.
Yeah, that's cool.
that's cool, but that's about it.
Yeah. I like the Wolverine. Looks like Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Overall, the Nightcrawler scene was good if you like Nightcrawler and you like action. He's bamfing around, and
yeah,
that's always neat to see. But man,
See, and you told me you were gonna sell me on the X-Men, and then we get this, and I just don't.
This isn't the one.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not good.
I'm glad we at least agree on that. So maybe when you try to show me something that actually is good, I'll believe you.
Yeah, we'll get to that eventually. You guys out there, if you have any recommendations for X-Men stuff that you think would sell him, regular viewers, let us know. My vote is for Astonishing X-Men, but let's see what you guys have to say. Next,
Dubsog.
we stand on guard, number 5. This is Vaughn, Scroce, Hollingsworth, and Phonographics. I hate that guy. Just
He's such an asshole, man.
What a dick.
Every interview I read with him, he's just so full of himself.
Yeah, right?
Suicide Mission. This gets pretty Suicide Squad-y. We get some big deaths. This is the penultimate issue, as I understand it. There's only going to be one more after this. It feels that way.
Yeah, I think we were both surprised that this is almost over already.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be an ongoing series.
Well, I at least thought it was going to be 12 or 18 or something of a little bit of length. The way it's set up here, it felt like it was going to be a big, long saga, but apparently...
It's like a Deadpool-sized mini story.
It's just in and out. It's been good, and this continued to be good. They dropped the short story at the front of when the characters were young that then coincides with the rest of the book. They dropped this one for this one.
Yeah, they did, but they replaced it with something that I feel was sort of a hint toward another early life thing that's going to be a big reveal in probably the next issue.
Yeah.
Just talking about how if they were coming after the guy's sister, he was concerned for them.
Right.
And, we've really seen this character in a very human light thus far. I mean, she's a little crazy, but whatever. Wartime, she grew up in wartime. It's all been expected. But yeah, I'm expecting a pretty big reveal in the next
finale.
One. Yeah.
So this was a lot more of the same, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but if you're curious how we feel about the series, it might almost just go watch some of our other episodes where we've talked about it, because we'd be repeating a lot of the same stuff, I feel like. Do you agree? So if you've liked this series so far, keep reading it. It's still the same stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, it's still good.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, so last but not least here, we have Doctor Strange number 2. This is Aaron, Bacallo, Townsend, Vey, and Irwin. Those last 3 guys are all inkers on this. Bacallo, interestingly, does the pencils and the color. And then these guys ink it. So he, starts and ends. I thought that was cool.
That is weird. 2 inkers. That's crazy.
I think 3 inkers.
3 inkers.
Yeah. There's a lot to ink.
So the Doctor helps a nice young lady get rid of her mind maggots.
Right. Yeah. Really, this is our introduction. That's kind of a MacGuffin here.
Oh, definitely.
Just to show us the Sanctum Sanctorum,
and sort of establish, what it is that he does and how he goes about solving problems, and yeah.
Right. I liked the story. It was fun.
Yeah.
Again, it's just a setup. But it was well crafted and well handled.
And I don't feel like it dragged on for too long either. I mean, it's basically an issue and a half. I think that he's really dealing with this problem, which is ample time. It's not too much. It's not too little. It didn't feel rushed, but it didn't feel like it should have been rushed either. So
right. We'll also probably get a callback to this.
Definitely.
It's clearly laying some groundwork. We're going to have this character come back. I bet it'll be issue 4 or 5 where we see this character come back and the mind maggots come back in.
Yeah. Well, she's supposed to be back on Saturday.
Right. But I bet we have something in between.
Okay.
We'll see. The characterizations of him, I'm really liking him more and more. This one really gets into this whole idea that on the surface to everybody else, he seems really cool and calm and collected. which is the classic Doctor Strange. You know, he was a brain surgeon, so he has this calm nerve, right?
Yeah.
But you get to see this other side where when he's in his sanctum sanctorum, you know, his books are a mess. He's got all of these problems, these spiritual viruses.
Yeah,
all of these,
parasites living in him.
all of this
back
shit
problems
helping to hold him together, and he's kind of a little bit of a disaster. You know, but as soon as he's dealing with the public or other people, he pulls it all together and seems like the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like a cold confidence kind of deal. I like it. I like him as a character.
And I think we have a thing here. He's another character, like the Vision, who I've always really loved in other books, but I've never read like a Doctor Strange book. I've always loved him in New Avengers and other places where I've read him, where he's come in and been a part of a series. But he normally has that calm, collected demeanor that he's just kind of above everybody else, and he just has his shit so much more together than everybody else does kind of guy.
It's like, I'll help you because you need me.
Right, so let me show up and save the day with my mysterious magic that you don't understand. And we still get that. He is a little bit younger than before, so we're seeing him a little bit earlier, I think, in this version. But I think it's a good way to grow the character and show more sides to him. Obviously, in a solo series, him just being aloft and aloof and better than everyone else would get really boring really fast.
Right, but he has to have I don't feel like this is a year one story by any means.
No.
But this is early in the career, you know, maybe comparable to like where Snyder Batman is at right now or something.
Right.
Yeah, he's been doing it a while, but he still obviously doesn't have all of his shit together.
Right, and so I really like that in this solo series we get to see behind that veil of perfect calm and cool. And I think that's exactly what some of the naysayers of this series don't like, because they like that calm, collected Doctor Strange. They're saying, you get a lot of people complaining that this is not the right characterization of him, but that's what I think is so great about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's only interesting for so long.
Right.
You know, and that's not very, very long at all.
And it's not very realistic. It doesn't paint a full picture of the character.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, we're talking about, you know, the realistic attributes of a fucking necromancer or whatever he is.
Right.
But, you know, nonetheless, like, you want some aspects of humanity in people, like, no matter how far of a stretch it seems. Like, even Martian Manhunter, you want, you know, a little bit of empathetical quality.
You need to round the character out. And
yeah.
I think Aaron's doing a really good job of that with this. I really feel like we're getting a full character. And I don't feel like it's taking away from the old Doctor Strange. It's just painting the fuller picture. We're getting to see the inside the Sanctorum, you know.
For sure. Lastly, artwork in this. We mentioned that it's not outside of the realm of normal Marvel by any means, except for the fact that it's just so well done. Just the perspective on everything and the way that all the weird shit is drawn. I mean, it seems like it draws from every aspect of comic art prior to it.
Agreed.
Which is very cool.
Yeah, it's really kind of a grab bag of a lot of different stuff and a lot of the different feels that you might call a Marvel house style. You get everything from like the modern Marvel to even feels like old Kirby and things like that kind of mixed in with the... I think this is the perfect book to deliver that kind of thing, because the Sanctum is so bizarre and strange, and there's so many different...
A lot of times it seems really abrupt, but that's the point. You know,
Right.
It's supposed to feel abrupt because that's the way that his house is. Like, there's fucking hell behind a door.
Right,
shit,
you open a door and there's just face-eating monsters. And
Yeah.
you open another door and there's mind maggots. And so I agree, the art is really cool without feeling like it doesn't exist in the overall Marvel world. Like, you could move from this over to Invincible Iron Man and you'd feel like you're in the same world artistically even, which is a pretty huge accomplishment because it is so weird.
And there's really just so much paranormal shit going on in this, you know, that it's tough to make it feel grounded within any sort of universe, but yeah, they managed to.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for us. You should check back with us on Monday, though, because we're going to talk about Multiversity. It just came out in a hardcover. so you guys can actually go out and pick that up. There's still a lot of issues of that floating around too. Like at our local shops, I think I looked a couple weeks ago and it was still like all there. Like you can just go pick it all up.
You can get number 1 and number 1 and number 1
Right.
and number 1 and maybe number 2.
Right. There's one number 2 and like 7 number 1 issues.
Yeah.
Really bizarre story.
Grant Morrison Crazy Town.
Grant Morrison Crazy Town. It just gets weirder and weirder as you read it. I liked it quite a bit. You're halfway through it. You said you've liked it all right so far. So
Yes, I have.
We'll talk about that in full on Monday. I believe next Monday we're going to talk about Batman and Robin Eternal. That will be at issue 6 at that point. I have no idea how far that's going, but so far it's just building and building and building. So we're going to look at that and tell you what we think about it, if it's worth checking out or not. And then every Wednesday, of course, we do our weekly review where we do what we just did with whatever came out that week. So,
If you like this, watch that.
yeah, it's kind of the same thing. We're sort of a one-trick pony, aren't we?
We got 2 tricks.
We do have 2 tricks.
We got the Monday and Thursday.
Yeah. You can also like and subscribe. That's a 1 and a 2. That's like 2 things that they could do. So, I mean, if you're into 2 things because you like us, right?
Combo meal.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shouldn't be talking about tricks and
Yeah.
ponies.
Okay.
Like when you start putting all that together.